Urban Rural Action is a national nonprofit organization that partners with communities across the United States to foster the community strength and resilience necessary to address our most urgent challenges together. Their cross-partisan civic participation programs bring together individuals from different ideological backgrounds, racial identities, generations, and geographical locations, among other differences. We believe that true community strength emerges from a genuine relationships, enhanced collaboration skills, and a willingness to explore differing viewpoints on critical societal issues. By working hand in hand with local community organizations such as Suicide Prevention of York, we collectively address urgent challenges that impact the well-being of our communities.
One significant initiative is with our Urban Rural Action Team in York, Pennsylvania, partnering with Suicide Prevention of York, focusing on having a safe and strong community. This team is focused on a deeply pressing issue, the incidence of suicides across all age groups within York County.
Our project's ambitious yet vital goal is to achieve a measurable reduction in these incidents, thereby saving countless lives. To accomplish this, we are developing and implementing videos on various social media platforms of individuals who are affected by suicide and suicide attempts.
Our aim is to equip individuals, families, and community leaders with the knowledge, resources, and support systems necessary to identify warning signs, encourage open conversations about mental health, and facilitate access to professional help. We urge everyone to view, share, and like the videos, and to pass on to anyone they know who might be struggling with suicidal thoughts. Encourage them to engage with these materials, and most importantly, to seek professional assistance is a vital step in our collective effort to save lives and build a more supportive community.
Lance was very humble. This is going to get me to cry. I'm going to try not to, but he was very kind. And I always said, I kid my kids, because I always said, Lance, you're going to have the most grandkids for me because you have the most laid-back temperament. My name is Cristi Hinder, and I have a son named Lance Hinder, and we lost him to suicide September 26th of 2017. It was just the start of his senior year. He still went to school, no signs of anything, worked at Chick-fil-A, still went to work. We had his senior pictures, I'm so thankful for that. We had his senior pictures taken literally like 3 weeks before he passed. He also went to like the York Fair. The York Fair was in September of those years, and he went to the York Fair with his cousin Connor. That was like 2 weeks before, so things were pretty like normal. Well, that morning we had a Hinder reunion. Lance was totally fine. We were there. He was cracking jokes, having a great time. Came home, and he was supposed to go possibly to the beach with my husband and my son, my youngest son, to just get some things wrapped up with our boat because the season was over. And he's like, no, I want to stay home. I have a project to do, you know. And I'm like, okay, get your project done then, okay? I went with my daughter to my sister-in-law's and brother-in-law's, and we were going to do some hot dogs and stuff like that. And Lance was going to do his homework and then possibly go to a homecoming party that someone else was having. Literally, when I got to Avistown, I get the phone call from my oldest son, who came home that night from working out and found Lance and said, Mom, Lance committed suicide. And I just was like in shock. Like, I had no clue. This child had no mental illness whatsoever that we knew of, that you would see, that you would hear. So that's kind of what happened. Luckily, he was resuscitated, so he did live he was in the hospital for 4 days with us. You know, every parent or, you know, thinks back, what if, or what could I have done, or what happened, or whatever, you know. But I feel like I could probably say there might be some things. Lance had a lot of health issues. That could have contributed to that. It was kind of frustrating for him, but we were getting him in the steps to getting better. It was homecoming season, and I can totally recall him like not being happy with possibly the date he was gonna take. And I was like, you know, and I didn't think, but I was like, Lance, you have to go. You know, you have to go to homecoming, it's your senior year. Lake's going, which Lake was his brother and was a freshman that year. And I thought, this would be good, you can go together, we can take pictures and everything, but I never really thought, if it really did bother him, I never thought to say, you don't have to go. You know, you don't have to go to homecoming, it's not a big deal. But I didn't think about it. And so I'm not sure if that, because that was coming up. And a lot of his cousins that were his age had dates. So I don't know if that really bothered Lance. Lance didn't seem to mind with that stuff, but I don't know. It could have, and I didn't realize it. It affects us still today. You know, it'll be 8 years the end of this month. It kind of made, I think my boys felt like it made us closer. We were always close with my daughter, it's a girl thing, you know, but I just feel like it has made us closer, but it made us closer in ways that we would have never thought it would make us closer. I don't feel like any of my family members ever gave us like, what happened? What was going on? Like, what was happening in your family? Nothing like that. They were very supportive. I don't feel like no one has ever said, why didn't you see signs? Because you know what? They don't know this journey. They didn't lose a child. They don't, this way, you know what I mean? So I don't feel like anybody has ever really made us feel that way. Like, yeah. I feel like the mental health stigma that sometimes we feel as if like, okay, the person was bipolar or they had mental health issues or whatever. We have to be careful of that because, you know, that particular group, honestly, will be the best to kind of see that there might be issues. So you can pinpoint, okay, that person's struggling mentally. They told us they've been in and out of hospital. You can kind of like be more aware of their situation. But when you have the situations like the girlfriend-boyfriend breakup, Lance, who just basically was like maybe a little depressed, maybe 2 weeks before he passed away, we have no clue. That group gets lost. And that's the group, even the older people in a nursing home, and they come home and that's the group that we got to figure out. And that's hard. And we just need to try to take away that it's not just all mental health. It is definitely just children. You know, a lot of times frontal lobes aren't shut and they'll just do a spontaneous act. I believe that Lance's was spontaneous. I don't think he was thinking, oh, I'm gonna hurt my mom and my sister and my family who love me. He was a very easygoing child, very quiet, not much like conversation as far as arguing with him. So sometimes it's the quiet ones you have to really check on. I think it was a shock because he wasn't, I'm not saying there's typical kids that look like we say, mental health. So you're seeing the kid that looks, you know, struggling all mentally, so you would assume that's gonna happen to him. I think Lance shocked the world there. And it was like, what? Central School District was awesome, okay? My kids went to Christian school. I did not expect this when he went to a public school that they would react this way. One of the committees, the kids got a suicide run done that year. We did it for 3 years and then COVID happened. But even those 3 years, it was very helpful for us. Lake was in football. Lance was in no sports, but Lake was in football. And that 9th grade team, which I thought was really sweet, they planted a tree for us in our yard because we never really had a tombstone for Lance. We didn't choose to do it that way. So that was super, super sweet when they came along and offered to do that. And that tree's in my yard right now. So that's kind of like my thing. Central had a very beautiful thing for Lance in their yearbook, which was another encouragement. I mean, that's so much encouragement we had. But what she said was this: often it's the really sensitive people in the world, the precious ones who struggle to acclimate into the society we live in, so their hearts long for heaven. God bless his precious soul. The main thing is you just need to go to someone if you're hurting. And if it's not your parents or your children, just find someone. A church, call a church. COD, we would love to help you. Church, the open door. It is hard. I mean, even 8 years, it's hard, you know, because you can't, the main thing is if your journey is new, you can't just keep thinking, what could I have done differently? What did I miss? That's the key. Like, he was actually cracking jokes that morning. Like, what did I miss? And you cannot go through life like that. And I try not to, it's really hard for me. And I'm pretty good at doing this now. I do a lot of mind games, and I don't try to focus the week before he died, what happened? Like, this happened, oh my gosh, I don't do that anymore. So you're gonna have to get to that point. It doesn't happen overnight. Grief is different for everyone. And main thing is say their name. I mean, Lance's name we say in the house. We have pictures of him in the house. His room's kind of still the same. Like, I have no need to move his room anyway. It's an extra room, so that's where I go, you know. I don't have a great graveside, so I go to his room, but just keep him alive. I mean, for your family's sake, you have to, for your kids.
Thank you for staying with us and watching this video. If something you've heard has stuck a chord in your heart or in your mind, and you'd like to learn more, or talk with somebody about some of these topics and issues, we encourage you to reach out to one of the many organizations that we've listed. They focus on helping people with this subject. Many of themselves have experienced these very same concerns. If you know anyone who may find this video beneficial, please share it with them and encourage them to have a listen, or even better, listen to it with them. Thank you very much.